Oscar Mendoza writes, "Hey AMC Studios, love the show and the new studio. I had a question about the amount of money that Avatar made. I can think of
Lots.
huge I can think of huge box office hits like The Avengers at 1.5 billion, Man of Steel at 660 million, The Dark Knight Rises 1.1 billion, etc. But how does a movie make an incredible 2.7 billion dollars? Avatar. That's more than 4 times what Man of Steel made. Can you elaborate on how this was even possible?"
Well, I mean, if there was like just a pure, easily put down on paper explanation for why it made like $2.7 billion, every studio would be making $2.7 billion movies. It's not that easy. But the way I look at it is this. If you've ever seen the review I did for Avatar, I really enjoyed Avatar a lot. I had so much fun watching it. I had my qualms with it, though. It's not a great story. It is a complete Dances with Wolves ripoff, plot point for plot point for plot point for plot. I mean, really, seriously, it's the exact same movie. Just one is dealing with, aliens on this planet, one is dealing with Native Americans. But other than that, it's the same plot throughout the entire movie. And that's irritating to me. The dialogue wasn't particularly wonderful and great, but overall, as a film experience, it was great. I was really happy it got nominated for Best Picture, but I was also really happy that it didn't actually win. But the thing about Avatar, when it came out, and keep this in mind too, for all the money that it made, it only made $77 million on its opening weekend. Only $77 million. But like Avengers made like $200 million on its opening weekend. I mean, big, huge blockbuster films now can open at $100 million. Avatar made 77. But the thing is, it became an event film. It became the film, kind of like what Gravity is right now on a smaller scale. Well, a bunch of people saw it and then started telling everybody, this is not like anything you've ever seen before. And Avatar, despite the fact that I think it had a couple of shortcomings, is a film you have never seen anything like. When I walked into that movie and I watched that, just visually, and the scope and the cinematography of it and the way it was done, I just remember thinking, this is totally new. I remember it's like when I saw The Phantom Menace, as terrible as the prequels are, visually, effects-wise, whatever, it was something we had never seen before. They had taken the art and the gifts as visual effects thing and took it to a whole new level. And then Avatar did it again. And it was just something that people started telling other people, you have to go see this. I don't even know if you're going to like the movie, but you got to see this. And then people like me started going back and thinking, I got to see that again. And I went back again. And then I think I saw it like 4 times in theaters. And it just became this thing where, yeah, it started at 77 million opening weekend, but it just kept going and going and going and going. And it became kind of a life all of its own. It is interesting, though. You take a big blockbuster film like The Dark Knight, and you see everybody dress up as it is. It maintains this pop culture presence. Because for 5-6 years after that came out, people are still dressing up as the Joker at Halloween. People are still dressing up as Batman and all that kind of stuff. Avatar kind of disappeared from the pop cultural consciousness like a year after it was at a theater.
It did.
Like that first Halloween, you saw a few people dress up as Na'vi. After I've not seen anybody dress up. I don't hear people quoting Avatar. I don't hear people talk. It just kind of disappeared from our consciousness. It will be interesting to see how Avatar 2, 3, and 4 resonate. I don't think we're going to see Avatar 2 make as much money as Avatar 1. But who cares? You can make half the amount of money that Avatar 1 did, and it's still a major, major blockbuster hit. So, but still, I'm curious to see how people react to Avatar 2. Amy Rose, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that, one of the big things that you touched on was experience, but furthering that, why Gravity has been such a success is the way that Alfonso Cuarón shot it, and I feel the same way about Avatar. That movie is meant to be seen in IMAX 3D, period. And those ticket prices are a lot more expensive. They just are. With a film like Gravity, I didn't get the privilege of seeing that before it hit theaters, and I was going to wait until I saw it on IMAX, period. There was no other format I was willing to see it on. And I feel that same way about Avatar because of what James Cameron continuously does with his technological advances. He continues to raise the bar. That was Avatar. Other than Dances with Wolves, it was Ferngully the Last Rainforest, verbatim.
Or Pocahontas.
Or Pocahontas.
Yeah.
And I love Ferngully the Last Rainforest, don't get me wrong, but the story is not what I loved about it. It was the depth, it was the richness. It was a special spiritual context, sure, and all of that greatness, but it was just the effects that blew us all away, and it was that experience experience that, sure, if I watch it at home, sure, it's still great, but it's not the same experience. How I feel about horror movies in the theater as well. But with a film that's shot the way he does, where it's art, Cameron continuously makes art with his filmmaking because he constantly raises the bar, and that it should be shown in IMAX 3D, and those expensive tickets can definitely greatly affect. I mean, if you look at what ticket prices were 10 years ago, it's insane. I remember thinking, you know, when I was in high school, oh, they'll never reach $10, you know, they'll never do that. It was like still like $4.50. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I definitely think the ever-evolving landscape and economy and all that affects it, but when there's a film-going experience like this, you have to see it on the big screen, even if it costs $20 to see it in IMAX 3D.
Aaron?
I mean, for me, Avatar was the perfect example of a kind of movie that really did well from word of mouth. Literally, as you were saying, you would hear from someone else how incredible this experience was, and you had to go see it yourself. And Avatar is a movie that you need to see in theaters. You have to take advantage of that experience because it's not the same on your laptop or on your TV, even if you have the 17-inch MacBook Pro, which is always getting in my way, this camera, blocking my shot. But even still, it's not the same experience, something that you have to see in a theater. And I don't know if that contributes completely to the amount of money that it made, but it definitely was something that you had to do in a theater, for sure.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.